My dear students, I am very sure during the grown-up period, from the very childhood up to the adulthood, you have faced this type of situation that during your sickness, someone drew the blood from here, this region, for any pathological tests, or perhaps you have seen that white bore needle is inserted in this area, okay, for drawing the blood or collecting the blood in a blood donation program, isn't it? Do you know the name of the vessels from where the blood were collected? Maybe or perhaps no. Again, maybe some of your friends and family members told you a story of their coronary angiogram or angioplasty, and they told you that something is inserted through the vessels here. Do you know which vessel were selected for performing this type of procedure, that angiogram or angioplasty? No. Again, you may heard a story of making a fistula in this region from your relatives or from your friends who had been suffering from chronic renal failure for several years and went for hemodialysis for the first time. Do you know which vein and artery are selected for making this fistula, for arterialization? No. But it was not a big deal when you are not a medical student. But from now, you have to know the places, the vessels, the situations very clearly, because you are going to become a doctor. As all these things are related to the superficial veins of the upper limb, so now let's know about the venous drainage of the upper limb. Before drawing the venous drainage of the upper limb, I want to share some information. That is, the upper limb veins has two sets. One is superficial, another is deep. Little bit different from the lower limbs. Why? Because another type of vein, that is the perforating vein, were present there, but here only superficial and the deep. So we are going to draw the superficial veins of the upper limb. These superficial veins are easily seen. Why? Because they sits over the superficial fascia, okay, or run over the superficial fascia. And if you look at your hand or forearm, you may see the faded blue colored vessels. Those are the superficial veins. And if you make an obstruction of the venous drainage with the blood pressure measuring cuff, then these veins will become more prominent. Okay. Now we'll draw the box here for drawing the venous drainage of the upper limb. Yes, here is our box, and then divide the box into 4 areas. Okay, and already I have shown you that how to make the hand in an easy way. There are two major superficial veins. One is cephalic vein and another is the basilic vein. The cephalic vein is the vein of the lateral side and basilic vein is the vein of the medial side. And the cephalic vein will form by the union of the lateral side of the dorsal venous arch along with the dorsal digital vein coming from the radial aspect of the index finger and from the thumb finger, and they unite and form the cephalic vein. And how will you remember that cephalic vein is situated in the radial side? Okay, just make your thumb finger and index finger in this manner. Okay, what is this? It is the C, isn't it? So C for cephalic and radial side, it is the radial side. So cephalic vein is situated in the radial aspect. This cephalic vein in the wrist, it will come in the anatomical snuff box, okay, over the roof of the anatomical snuff box, and then ascend upward along the posterolateral border of the forearm. Then it turns anteriorly and come into the front of the forearm. And during drawing the venous drainage of the upper limb, you have to draw the cephalic vein from this area. Okay, here start the cephalic vein, but we cannot see the courses from its origin here, because it is the front aspect of the hand or palm of the hand, it is the front of the forearm, it is the front of the arm. Clear? Okay, then the cephalic vein will go upward along the lateral area of the front of the forearm to reach up to the cubital fossa, lateral aspect of the cubital fossa. In this course or during this course, it is accompanied with the lateral cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Then it will ascend upward along the lateral side of the biceps brachii muscle. In this region, the biceps brachii muscle will be present. Okay, here. So at the lower part of the pectoralis major muscle, the cephalic vein will pierce the deep fascia of the arm and then come into the deltopectoral group. Here the deltoid muscle is present here in this region, deltoid muscle, and here is the pectoralis major muscle. Here it is inserted in a spiral manner, but it is a schematic diagram. So it is the deltopectoral group. It pairs the deep fascia and come at the deltopectoral group. Okay. From here, it turns sharply backward. I am giving the dotted line because it goes deep to the deep fascia of the arm. Okay. So after piercing the deep fascia of the arm, it turns sharply backward and pierce the clavipectoral fascia to enter the axillary vein. Okay. And then another vein is the basilic vein, that is the vein of the ulnar aspect. This basilic vein will form by the union of the medial side of the dorsal venous network along with the dorsal digital veins coming from the ulnar aspect of the little finger. Okay, and then ascend upward along the posteromedial aspect of the forearm and then goes up, and near the or just below the elbow it turns anteriorly to come into the anterior aspect of the forearm and reach the medial side of the cubital fossa. Here, from here, just from here it turns anteriorly and reach the medial aspect of the forearm. Okay, in this area and here we cannot see the basilic vein. Why? Because it is the palm of the hand, it is the front of the forearm, and the other portion or the originating portion that is situated behind the hand and the forearm. Here it is accompanied with the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm, and just above the cubital fossa it is accompanied with few lymph nodes. Then it will ascend upward along the medial aspect of the biceps brachii muscle, and at the mid-arm region here it will pierce the deep fascia of the arm to enter the anterior compartment where it lies medial to the brachial artery. Okay, here brachial artery is situated. Then at the lower part of the teres major muscle, it is the muscle of the back. Okay, so at the lower part of the teres major muscle, this basilic vein will unite with the brachial veins, the veins which remain as the vena comitantes of the brachial artery, and form the axillary vein. Okay, actually this axillary vein goes behind the pectoralis major, but here I am not telling about the muscle, I am telling about the veins. Okay, so I have removed the fibers of the muscle from here. For your better understanding, it will form the axillary vein, and from here the cephalic vein will drain here. Okay, very nice. But in some cases it is observed that the basilic vein, it may continue as the axillary vein, and in that case the brachial veins that remain as the venae comitantes of the brachial artery, they will enter into the axillary vein at the lower level of the subscapularis muscle. Now come to the tributaries, and before drawing the tributaries I want to remove the other things. That means I just want to keep the veins here. I drew those things for your better understanding, but in your exam khata you will only draw the veins. Okay, now come to the tributaries. Here one large tributary, connecting tributary, that is the median cubital vein at the level of the cubital fossa, from here up to there, this manner. Okay, and how will you remember that the direction of the cubital vein is from the cephalic vein up to the basilic vein? Okay, if you keep your hand in anatomical position, okay, looking now, yes, what is the direction of the thumb finger? Just imagine that cephalic vein is situated at the tip of the thumb finger and basilic vein is situated at the root of the thumb finger. So if the thumb finger is the median cubital vein, then the direction will be from cephalic to basilic. Clear? And look at here, in the cubital fossa it looks like H, isn't it? And another important thing, that this vein is chosen for drawing the blood for any pathological test, or for the blood donation, or giving the intravenous injection. And why it is chosen for that purpose? Because this vein is more superficial, one point. Another point, it is fixed. Why fixed? On both sides there are two veins. Here is the cephalic vein, here is the basilic vein. Okay, and a tough structure is situated under it or beneath it, that is the bicipital aponeurosis, and for that region it will get some support from below. So when you want to enter something from above, it will not go deep. When you want to insert a needle here, it cannot slip for a greater distance. Why? Because it is pulled on both sides by two larger veins, isn't it? Yes. There is another tributary here, that is the median vein of the forearm, and this median vein of the forearm will form by the union of the palmar venous network and drain into the median cubital vein. But this drainage may vary. How? Just I want to show you here. If here is the cephalic vein and here is the basilic vein, okay, so the median vein of the forearm may drain in this manner, may split, and one limb will attach with the cephalic vein, another limb will attach with the basilic vein, and form the M-shaped pattern. Okay, another tributary that is named as the deep vein of the forearm, that arises from the median cubital vein, that is the deep vein of the forearm. And why I am giving this circle, I have made this clear in my video of the venous drainage of the lower limb. So this vein go deep, pierce the bicipital aponeurosis and join with the veins surrounding the brachial artery. And one thing I want to tell you, that another name of this median vein of the forearm is the median antebrachial vein. Median antebrachial vein. Anti means in front, of the brachium means the arm. Okay, this vein is situated in front of the arm. So it is the median antebrachial vein and situated in the midline. And do you know that this basilic vein is chosen for inserting the cardiac catheter? Why the doctors do not choose the cephalic vein for this purpose? Because basilic vein, it's just look at the course. Its course is very straight here, just behind this border, and goes above, then upward, and then continued as the axillary vein. Okay, very straight course. But here the course of the cephalic vein is not so straight. At its termination, it will sharply bend, okay, or sharply turn backward to drain into the axillary vein. So when you insert a catheter through this vessel, this basilic vein will be the straight channel. But here, if you insert the catheter, it will go up, but here it will be very difficult to manage the catheter here at the bending. And for hemodialysis, a fistula or a channel, connecting channel is made in between the cephalic vein and the radial artery for arterialization. And what is arterialization? Just keep it for later. Just know from here, from anatomy, that an artificial connection is need to be made in between the cephalic vein and the radial artery, and that is termed as the radiocephalic fistula. And this fistula may also in between the ulnar artery and the basilic vein, and termed as the ulnobasilic fistula. And the deep veins are located deep to the deep fascia and accompany the arteries as the venae comitantes. That means one artery and two veins on each side. Okay, that means the radial artery and two radial veins on each side of the radial artery, ulnar artery, and two ulnar veins on each side of the ulnar artery. Okay, brachial artery and two brachial veins on each side of the brachial artery, in this manner. But axillary vein is single. Remember it, axillary vein is single. I hope that you have learned the venous drainage of the upper limb very clearly, and you can draw and label the venous drainage in your exam khata. And in your exam khata, just draw the veins, do not draw the muscle fibers. And I believe that you can talk to your friends and family about the drawing blood during some pathological tests, or inserting the intravenous injection, or drawing blood during the blood donation. Okay, and you can also talk to your relatives who perform the cardiac catheterization through the basilic vein, and you can explain them why basilic vein was chosen for this purpose, isn't it? And you can also answer about the fistula in between the artery and vein during the hemodialysis. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.